For the healing talents for raiding, you pretty much have one build with maybe a few adjustments that you can make. But these are the core talents. You want your healing wave to be casted faster. You want to reduce mana costs. Of course, ancestral healing that gives armor. Reduce mana costs, reduce threat on healing, crit strikes, and anything that improves your healing industry. Maybe less of healing focus because you're not going to be interrupted very often during raids because things should not be hitting you. Hit chance doesn't give much to you. Extra mana is always good. You want to improve your totems, stone skin in case you need it. Usually you won't need it, so probably you can spend it in something else, but there are not that many good healer talents around on the other two trees. And you want Ghost Wolf, I don't know, for mobility. But really, this is what you care about then, the Restoration tree. For the healing rotation, unfortunately, the main job of the shamans, it's very important, is to put totems for the melees. It's like, if you're not putting totems, then you're not a shaman, let's say. Maybe you're healing, but everybody else is healing too. So your job is to put totems, of course, to heal people, but totems are very important. So you want to empower your melees by putting Wind Fury and Strength of Earth totem. And for yourself, you want to drop a Mana Spring maybe. You can consider dropping Healing Stream totem. Some people do that to heal the melees, but keep in mind that this heals only your party. So the totems only spread to your party in the raid. If the raid has many parties, it only affects yours, these totems. So if you're in the tank party, maybe you can put Healing Stream. If you're in party which doesn't take much damage, then it would be a waste. If you have like priests and warlocks in your party, you want to put Mana Spring, they benefit from it too. You also have Mana Tide Totem, which is your 5-minute cooldown to get you some mana. Honestly, don't save it for critical moments. Put it when you have low mana during the fight. You can put it preemptively and regen mana in advance. It's not a big cooldown, it doesn't improve your healing, it just gives you some mana back. Maybe you put it and you don't consume mana potion, or maybe you really need mana because the fight is going long, so you use mana potion, dark rune, and the totem. But don't hold it really for the entire raid, because if you hold it for critical situations when you're really out of mana, you will just eat mana pots and you will never use this totem. In terms of healing, there are two things you need for sure. Is first, you need 2 ranks of chain heal. You're mostly going to be cast rank 1, and you will be casting rank 3 when your team is taking all of damage. If everything's fine, the tank is kind of healthy and nobody's taking all of damage, you will be spamming chain heal on your main tank, the tank that is assigned to you in the raid. So you'll be spamming chain heal rank 1 on your tank. You can optimize and stop casting it in the last moment and start recasting if you really want to optimize your mana, and if the team is not taking any damage, for example. Maybe there are so many healers focusing the tank that there is no damage coming. But otherwise, you want to keep casting it and make sure that the tank has the ancestral healing buff. You can track it with the add-ons or by looking at the bar. That's something you need to keep an eye on, an important reduction in damage received. Now, as for other spells, Healing Wave with Nature Swiftness, the one we looked at before, to be able to quickly cast Nature Swiftness into Healing Wave max rank on somebody who's in danger, like so. And this one created and gave me some buff too. It's also important that it stacks up in this way. So actually, sometimes you can heal the tank by healing with a Healing Wave rank 3. That's another spell to have on your bar. So you can basically start spamming this, and it will get the talent Healing Wave up. So this spell will heal more, and it becomes more and more mana efficient the more you cast it. But also you use this low mana cost spell to get the Ancestral Fortitude buff to proc on your tank, so that they have it for the fight. So that's basically a way. You can cast rank 1, that's also absolutely valid option if you're trying to preserve your mana. But rank 3 is sort of like a sweet spot where it gets some benefit from your healing power, and it also heals some, so you can actually keep casting this and sustain a tank that's taking a little bit of damage. It's your choice what to have. So then you want Lesser Healing Wave, last rank, and you will be casting this on people who receive damage and are in danger, or on your tank too. So what you can do as well on the tank, if it's only tank taking damage and the tank is staying separately from the other team, you can select your tank and you can cast Lesser Healing Wave on them. And this spell is very expensive, so you can stop casting it if tank is not taking damage and start recasting it like so. So this would be a very nice way to keep the tank up and preserve your mana, because the tank can be healed by priests and druids, and they have like this healing over time. So if he's taking little damage, your mana will be wasted healing him. But if he takes big chunks, for example, on some strong mobs with glaives in Blackrock, not Blackrock, the Blackwing layer. So on these ones, actually, this is a very good method to keep the tank up. Because if the fight is quite long, and if you keep spamming it, you'll run out of mana. So you need to stop casting. So that's a way to preserve it. Most of the time, you're going to chain heal through your tank. That's what most of the time you're going to do. Unlike Paladin, where you play sort of this game healing with a flash of light, anybody who goes low, there you have more attention on the healing bot. If you just stand there and cast chain heal into your tank that's been assigned to you, you're already doing okay.
So for example, if just someone new, and it's like will be easier. Yes.
It's fine. That's what you should do. Yes. If you're new, you don't know what to do in the raid, put totems and spam chain heal rank 1 or rank 3 if your team is dying into the tank that is assigned to you. And nobody will complain. You heal other people around the tank too. Your tank is alive, and that's important. Because it's not your job to like heal people who are low in your back ranks if you're assigned to a tank. If you've been assigned to a group, well, yeah, just chain heal whoever is lowest in the group and keep spamming that. That's about it. You can do it. But what we are talking here about is optimizing and getting good, actually using the potential. But as a beginner, chain heal basically is your bread and butter. Tremor Totem is a very good tool. It allows you to stop the fears. So you need to remember two things. So first, the Tremor Totem, it instantly dispels fears whenever it's put. The moment you put it, it dispels any active fears that are ongoing. Any people who are feared right now in your party will be dispelled. They will stop being feared. And then it does it every 5 seconds afterwards. So every 5 seconds after this putting it down, it will dispel fear. So if you know when the fear is coming, you can actually see it sometimes on the big rigs or DBM that you're using. You can put the totem in the right moment, and then it will dispel the fear much faster. And in some dungeons, you want to use grounding totem. For example, in Strat Live, there is a guy that casts Fireball in the end of the dungeon, a really long cast spell. You can catch it with a grounding totem. Then it will cast the spell at it. There are also other applications for grounding totem. Some of them are in raids, and your raid leader will call out if that's something you should be doing. But grounding totem is an air totem too, so you will have to choose either that or Wind Fury. So it's only a few applications for this one. Quite simply, looking at the logs, you don't want to look at parses. I think we had another video where there were people commenting about parses. When I mentioned parses, I mentioned that it indicates. If you parse like super badly, you might be doing great because you're healing your tank and he's not taking damage. But maybe you're not doing so great if you're healing the main tank and actually he is almost dying every time. So that just depends. So you look at parses only to see, well, this guy was healing main tank and he has really low parse, so sounds like there is a problem, you know? So when you look at the logs, you look at activity levels to see, and also you look at how many times a spell has been cast by this shaman. So if you look at a shaman, you see if he's actually casting chain heal, or maybe he's casting and canceling it. If he's casting like maybe other spells, to see if he's active. He's not just like standing there and waiting for team to take damage, because in hardcore, you need to heal preemptively before the damage comes in. You can't always heal when your team is already dying. That's too late, because some spell can come in and kill somebody. Your job is to keep the team topped up, so there is the lowest risk of somebody dying. You can do that by healing your main tank and spreading the heal with a chain heal on others automatically. or if you're not assigned, or if your tank is not actually tanking. Now, we said before that you're okay shaman if you just spam chain heal rank 1 on your tank, or rank 3 if he's like dying, you're okay. But to be good, you need to look at what's going on. If your tank is just standing, maybe waiting to intercept a mob, or doing some other passive job, or just hitting, and you can see on threat meter he's really, really low, and you know he's not going to taunt the boss or take any damage, then you can take your time to heal your team. So don't just mindlessly spam your tank if he's not doing anything. So you need to look a little bit to be better. If you look at what's going on the battlefield and you time your heals good, and you pre-heal the people who are about to receive damage, that's how you can be great at healing as a shaman. You also need to look at dispels. When you look at the logs, if somebody is not dispelling when there are a lot of elements, unless there has been specific people assigned to it, but generally everybody should be dispelling. It's a shared job to keep the raid dispelled. You want to use your skills, and you want to look out for people who don't use the cure poison and cure disease. So if you want to dispel and you want to use the totems, they will only dispel your party. They will not affect the rest of the raid. If there are a lot of dispels to do and your party is affected, for example, in Zul group, you have a snake that puts poison on everybody it faces. So then you put this poison cleansing totem and your group is dispelled, and then you sort of click and dispel everybody else manually, right? So that's when you can use the totem. You can also put it up if the dispels are not like critical. Dispel something, maybe at some point, it's not too bad if it hangs like for 2-3 seconds. But if there is a party that has no shaman, these totems will not do anything for it, for this party. So you need to go and manually click cure disease or dispel cure poison. That's something to look at as well in the logs when you analyze your play and see if other people are dispelling more than you. Perhaps you should start doing some more. Another thing to look in the logs, as I mentioned before, the totems are very important. So what you want to look is the uptime of Wind Fury totem on your party. So you have probably some melees in your party, like warriors and rogues. What you can do is you can look in the logs, how long did they have Wind Fury? If your Wind Fury uptime is like really low, your team is going to be upset because you're not doing your shaman job. So you want to keep these numbers high to keep the melees pumping and killing the bosses before they kill the raid. That you can also see in the logs, and it's important to track. Another valuable skill to have as a healer, and generally a healer, not specifically a shaman, which is also widely used in PvP, is drinking with server ticks. This will allow you to move and catch up with your raid while also restoring your mana. So as you can see on the right on my add-on, the mana is regenerating in ticks. It's not, you can also see it on left top. The number is changing, but not little by little in ticks. So what will happen is if I sit to drink, these ticks become larger. So it's 200 mana, then 200 more, and 200 more. And if I don't drink, it is just like 30, 60, and so on. So what you can do about it is that if you have a lot of water, which you usually do because a mage gives you like maybe 20, 30 stacks of water, if you ask them nicely. Usually 20 is enough for like a couple of raids. So what you do is you can keep walking, and then you sit down to drink, and you keep walking, and you sit down to drink, and you keep walking, sit down to drink. You'll get used to it. You'll maybe miss some ticks, but eventually you can sit down just for a moment. As you can see, my mana is regenerating at fast pace, and I'm walking. I'm not sitting all the time. So I'm already at 50%, 54, 58, 61, and so on. And I'm still walking. So this is a really nice skill to stay up to your raid group in the raid or in PvP. In the end game, when you're raiding as a shaman, you don't actually have that much to look for in terms of gear. So if you think about the gear, what you're aiming for is same as the paladin's healing power, spell healing. You want to also get some crit strike, just like the paladin, but it's not as impactful. The only reason you would want crit strike more than any other class is because it procs ancestral healing, which increases the value on your target that's been healed when it crits. And not only on the target that you're healing, but if you're using a chain heal, it will increase it on all other targets that it hits. It can hit up to 3 targets. So that's pretty nice. But it's not as crazy as the Paladin's mana refund. Now, in terms of gear, you're looking to be a bit beefy. Just like as a Paladin, you want to be able to take a hit, maybe, so that you can keep healing your rate, even if you're taking some damage yourself, so that you don't panic. Stop healing, go Petri, and completely panic. So then you want to get the stamina, the intellect, and some healing power and crit. This is like a perfect piece you can get for the head. There are pieces that give more healing power, but they give less stamina or less intellect and no crit. This is a head from Onyxia. But, well, when you're starting off, you're just basically looking for any gear that has some stamina, some intellect, and some healing power. I would not recommend to build full healing power like you would sometimes on the Paladin with like green items that just have healing power, because as a shaman, you kind of need some mana because your skills are very expensive. You don't get mana refund. You now run out of mana quickly and then you're useless. And also, like your chain heal, you're going to be casting it and it eats a lot of mana, so you want to keep casting it for the entire fight. So you want to have a good mana pool. Hence why you can't go just like green item healing power. But yeah, like your late game gear looks something like this. You have to have 3 tier 2 pieces of. I have helm from Onyxia and legs from Ragnaros and wrists from Blackwind Lair. Some pieces are better than others. I think these are like decent pieces. I think people don't usually take the legs because there are much better legs in the game, specifically in Ankh-Kirash, but the Ankh-Kirash has not opened yet. So these are the legs I'm running right now. They also give some crit, which is a nice bonus, as well as fire resistance for some extra safety when dealing with Blackwind Lair and Molten Core content. 3 pieces of tier 2, because it gives you the bonus of 30% extra heal on chain heal. And then the neck from Strat UD, it's everyone's favorite right now. I think with the release of Zul Group, you have a better neck now, but well, it's close enough. The shoulders have a few options. These provide a bit more survivability and give some healing power. So these are a decent choice. You can choose also the crafted ones that I showed before on the leveling shaman, the ones that you living shoulders. Height of the Wild is everybody's favorite. For the chest, this one also gives crit, that's why I choose it. It also gives me some stamina and intellect for a larger healing pool, as well as fire resistance for some defensive stats. There are definitely better chests, like you can have the red dragon scale breastplate, which is very good. It gives you 66 healing power, but it's less for survivability. So I think this one is giving a good balance, because again, we are looking at how long you're able to heal. You don't want to pop mana pots. You will pop major mana pots, but you don't want to put the Flask of Wisdom and maybe repop it to restore mana because you run out quickly. We looked at the wrists for the tier 2 to complete the set. The hands from Dermal Tribute, really decent piece, gives a lot of healing power, but can be replaced by other hands that also give like a mix. But these give quite a lot. I have Corehound belt here. There can be other pieces. This one can be a bit expensive to get, but feel free to get any other piece that gives healing power intellect. We have 4-drink seal, which is very beloved items by all healers. It drops from a quest in Strat Life to get the painting. Every healer should have it. From Molten Core as well, but any other ring. I think that my starting ring was the ring that gives healing power and mana regen that drops in lower Blackrock Spire. I still have 2 inactive trinkets, passive trinkets, one with crit chance from a quest and Briarwood Reed, very good one for healers. But this one you can replace with an active trinket from Zul Group and click a button when you need some extra healing, which is also a good choice. I think because of low cast speed on Shaman, these active trinkets are a bit less good than on Paladin, for example, or Priest, because you rarely like start spamming lesser healing way. Mostly you cast in chain heals, but it can still be very good if you time it right. Then I have a hammer from Molten Core 2, but you get one from Blackrock Depths. It's as good. It's pretty good hammer too, so you can equip that. And you want to have a shield. Most likely you will drop a shield in Marathon, which is also a decent shield, but this one gives more armor and more stamina. And since I have a lot of pieces that give like healing, so I don't need, I can focus on the stamina at this point. I would want to replace it with a shield from Blackwing Layer eventually, or when it drops.
What is the minimum to get accepted in the raid? Because not everyone can like get that stacked like you quickly, so they need to start somewhere.
Right. I think for that, how would I prep for a raid? I can go on my other shaman. So if you look at the minimal healing requirement to show up in a raid, I mean, it depends which raid you want to come. I would say in Zoom group, you can come up pretty much in greens. You can literally equip this gear that I'm showing right now, some kind of basic gear. Maybe the sleeving shoulders are nice, and maybe some pieces that are not green, but at least like level 50 plus, it will be good enough, to be honest, in Zol group. If you want to go to Molten Core and Blackwing Layer and onward, you kind of need to work on your gear a little bit. So you need to get some gear with healing power in it, and intellect and stamina, all three. So for example, some easy pieces that you can get is the shoulders I showed before. So this one. Now, there are some pieces that don't give intellect that can be nice to have, like these green hands and boots. These are dropping from Celitus and they're sold on auction house for really cheap. So you can pick them up. You see 8 gold and 6 gold. This is a good starter, but mostly you will be looking at gear in dungeons that you can drop. Dermal Tribute is very good for shamans because it drops the hands and also an offhand you can use to boost your healing power until you have enough to equip a shield. Another good piece that I can recommend is this red dragon scale breastplate that you can get. It's not too expensive right now. For example, it's 65 gold in auction house. Gives you a lot of healing power. So yeah, apart from that, you want to do your quest to get the ring from Ford Ring. And maybe you want to do some UBRS to get the Briarwood Reed and maybe some boots with healing power. I think it drops. And you want to do Blackrock Depths to get the hammer. So once you have like, let's say 70 to 80% pieces that are pre-raid beasts, depending on the guild you're in, you would be taken to Molten Core. Typically, if a guild needs shamans badly to actually just do the content, you might get in with less as a shaman. The restrictions are not so strong on the healers, I would say. But for your own survivability, I would suggest you to always have a Flask of the Titans on you, because you can get clapped in Molten Core. You have these fire mobs that can cast fireballs and they can delete you in a matter of seconds if you're not beefy enough. And you don't want that to happen. You also need to have a decent amount of intellect and maybe at least 250, 300 healing power so that you can actually be useful for your team. And I think then you're ready to go to Molten Core and Blackwing Layer. So as for the consumes, you pretty much have the same as on many other healers. You have Elixir of Superior Defense, Elixir of Fortitude, Mage Blood Potion. These are the minimum. Then you want to have the resistance potions for encounters. For example, for Blackwing Layer and Molten Core, you want greater Shadow Protection and greater Fire Protection. You pop them when your raid lead tells you to, or before you know there is going to be an encounter with bosses or mobs dealing a lot of fire or shadow damage. It can save your life quite easily. You also want to have some food and some grog. These are less important, but good. You're going to be drinking quite a few major mana potions during the raid, most likely because the fights are kind of short, but if you spam your chain heal, you can run out of mana. Unlike Paladin, you really would want to use these potions. And the runes, in case you use the potion and you're still out of mana, that's what you use. You also want this one restorative potion to remove like curses or something. It can be useful in some encounters to keep them on you. you want limited vulnerability potions, because if you pull aggro, that's the thing that's gonna save you. And it also helps on Mandakir to clear the gaze. I have some free action potions in case I know there's gonna be a stun, I can pre-pop it. For example, on Giants and Molten Core, I could pre-pop this if I'm in melee and badly positioned, and the Giants are coming, I can click that, and then I'm not gonna get stunned, and I can keep healing. Well, I still have the Slumber Sand from earlier quests, and a Petri. You want at least 3 Petris on you, in case you have to Petri during the raid to drop aggro or to save yourself. You still want to have a few to actually get out if there is a call to get out of the raid. So these are the consumes.
Is it necessary to always have a flask? Or for example, if you just fresh 60, can you slack in this department?
If you're a fresh 60 and you're going in a raid that's not Zul group, I would say you better have your flask if you value a character, because there are so many unpredictable things that can happen. If you're clearing Blackwing Lair, you can miss position and get a breath from one of the dragons or Chromagos. Or Emily can pull threat that's standing behind the boss, turn around the dragon and he breathes at the whole group. Well, if you're below 5k HP, you're dead. Congratulations, you just level a new character. So think for yourself if you want to have a flask. And if you're not below 5k HP, if you're maybe 5k 200, 5200 HP, well, maybe you take a little bit of damage and then the dragon breathes and it still kills you. So really have some buffer on your HP and really drink this fire protection and shadow protection potions when the raid lead tells you. Because if you don't, you're going back to Mulgore.
For example, if we are playing not a hardcore server, can we make an argument for the mana flask?
Yeah, if you're not... So on hardcore, you will use the wisdom flask sometimes when in certain encounters. For example, in Naxxramas, there are a few cases where you would use it over the Titans for specific fights because they're just so mana intensive. Otherwise, you can use it if you really know what you're doing, if you really like pop this other protection potions and you have good knowledge and you're not afraid. Maybe you have 2 or 3 shamans leveled up to level 60 and you know you want to do some pumping, go ahead and use the Flask of Wisdom. But for non-hardcore, absolutely you use the Flask of Wisdom. The Titans is not even an option because if you die, you can get rest. And the Flask doesn't drop when you die. Only the potions drop. Well, and your buffs.
100% it's wisdom, because it no sense in 2 extra HP.
2k? Yeah, I mean, if you die, you lose your buffs, to be honest. People don't want to lose their buffs.
But you are not melee, you are not benefiting from them that hard, to be honest.
True. On hardcore you are, but on softcore, not really.
Yes.
It's whatever. For add-ons, for raiding, you want to have big wigs. This would allow you to see timers and raids and react to different abilities. It would warn you if there is an important ability that's been cast. For example, Mandakir's Gaze. Classic cast bars, which show the cast bars below people and monsters. So if you see a mob, if you click on a target and a boss even, you will see if he's casting something, so you can prepare. Same Mandakir's Gaze, for example. You can see him casting it. Plugins Tiny Threat, that shows how much threat you're generating to understand if you pull something. You're not a paladin, you generate quite a lot of threat. So if you heal preemptively, you can see yourself here, and well, that's not a good thing. You probably should use a leap, limited vulnerability potion, to save yourself. Next, heal bot. I'm using that on the shaman. I can show my setup for it later. I have Ice Hat to have good visibility of my health and mana in front of me. I can't have my eyes running around all these panels, so I'm used to looking at it here, but it's just a matter of preference. Modern target frame enables better display of buffs. Then if you want to track world buffs or instances, that's these two. Safeguard is nice add-on that warns you if with a sound and message, or maybe some other ways when you're low on health or low on mana, or if you see a rare monster near while leveling, which is dangerous. Same as unit scan, helps with seeing rare enemies that can be dangerous. And then weak auras is quite important. I will show you my weak auras for a shaman that I have. There is a weak aura I made myself. It tells me that I have aggro. So it's trigger aggro, and it will make a sound aggro. So whenever I have aggro, it's going to play a sound. I use this in the raids because when I pull aggro, I need to know. If I pull it from the boss during the boss fight, I instantly click leap without even thinking. I don't need to do anything. I just know if I pulled it. So it's a very nice one to have. Because yeah, as a shaman, if the boss gets to you and hits you, you're not a paladin. You will most likely not survive. Let's see other weak auras. I think VF now. This one displays this panel on the right. This is a bit special weak aura that every member in your group needs to have. For example, when I put a Wind Fury totem, you can see that it's displaying here. If I have the buff and if all members in my team have my buff. So if I go far away, put the totem. Well, let me put another totem, actually, this one. You still have the buff because you actually have it on you for a few seconds. But right now, it will disappear. Now it's gone, it's red. And now it's going to be gone from you too. Apart from this, there is not many add-ons or weak auras. I don't use too much. So that's about it.
Perfect. Maybe something else?
Yeah, I think that's the last thing I wanted to say. I don't know anything else.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it turned out very good. Unfortunately, I don't have a big channel, so we cannot spread it. Like
It's fine. It's all good. I don't need big fame.
No,
If
it's
a few people
it's
watch,
not,
that's great.
It's not about the fame, and even if I monetize someday, I will like earn like $20 or something.
Exactly.
It's not about it. It's just you want to, I don't know, assist people